Hi folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we're looking at episode 3 of Citrus. Now, this week's episode is very interesting because we got several big events that occurred in this week's episode. I do have issues with one or two of them, which I'll talk about when we get to them, but let's start in order. So our first very big moment was probably with Mei and Yuzu coming from last week's episode where they were talking on the balcony to one another. And we see that Mei doesn't hate Yuzu, actually. It's not really that she feels anything bad towards her. She realizes that Yuzu has been trying this whole time to really just get close with her and to act like a sister. And thus, that's why she is understanding of how she's worried, and she knows that, you know, that's how she feels right now, but she doesn't want her to do that. She even tells her to tell the mom, hey, listen, you know, I'll be back soon, or don't worry about anything. And then, lo and behold, we have a switch where the grandfather ends up in the hospital, and Yuzu goes with Mei to visit him. Right away, she's like, oh, hey, listen, can we talk about the expulsion that happened? And he's like, before we do that, he goes, you know, and then he starts talking to her about it, and he even says that he's going to revoke the expulsion. You know, he apologizes for his rash behavior. He understood what she was trying to do, and he understood that the way she was going about it, yes, was kind of, you know, eccentric, to say the least, but, you know, it was meant to really help her daughter more than else, or excuse me, help his daughter. And in that sense, he forgave her for that, obviously, but also was happy because he realizes that Mei's starting to finally break out of the shell that she's had so far. And it's starting to show, hey, she can think for herself. You know, so far we've seen Mei in a very interesting predicament because we saw her being toyed with by that one teacher who was just using her for, you know, status and power. And then, you know, we had her, you know, with this family now all of a sudden out of nowhere, at the same time trying to cater to her grandfather and the school's, you know, image of her. So Mei has always been catering for other people, maybe not herself. And that's something that I think as the series progresses, we're going to see, at least from my knowledge, you know, I don't know, because I really, like I said before, I've only read a little bit of the manga, so, and it's been a long time, so most of it I forgot. But I think that the focus will be definitely seeing Mei and Yuzu get closer, but we'll also start seeing, you know, Mei start realizing, hey, I don't need to live just for everyone else. I can live for the people, you know, for myself first and foremost, or the people I care about. And that comes into play with, you know, with the later part of the episode, which is the very end, which we'll talk about that in a second. But my only issue with this week's episode probably have to be this one moment that we had where it was when they finally got back together. They were in the, you know, the same apartment together, you know, and it was very sisterly. You know, Yuzu was, again, acting on her urges. I think that's Yuzu's biggest thing right now, is that she feels a lot of love for Mei, and I mean more than obviously a sister should, you know, even a half sister. So it's, you know, having them sleep in the same bed, for example, was definitely going to cause a problem, and lo and behold, it did. But Mei kind of is also I don't want to say the B word, but you guys probably know the 5-letter word I'm looking for here, and I won't say it out loud, but the fact that Mei was pushing Yuzu into this thing of where, you know, she's toying with her at this point, and, you know, even like trying to get up close to her and almost kissing her, but then pushing to the side and just joking about it. You can understand why Yuzu would get pissed off. You can also understand why now Yuzu's in this frame of mind where she doesn't know what she wants now because of this. But, you know, we get the whole thing at the end where we see that, I think for Mei, it's more fun, to say the least, if it's a situation that's, I want to say, just surprising or taboo. And case in point, the fact that she calls up Yuzu to go to the principal's office where they start making out. You know, I think that's Mei's thing, is that she likes that taboo relationship to a point, but she also likes doing it in places that are secretive of sorts. So it's definitely something. But this week's episode, you know, I was going to use legit them making out as a thumbnail, but then I thought maybe that might be an issue. I don't know if I end up doing that. As of this video, I might have used it as a thumbnail. I might not have either. We'll see what happens with that. If I don't use it, it's because most likely I was afraid to, you know, get in trouble for using an image like that, because it's still an image that, you know, some people might have issues with, and I don't want to have any problems with anything like that. But, you know, I think so far Citrus is doing a great job of creating this story that at times can be melodramatic, but at the same time it does have a genuine tale to it so far, of sisters that become more than sisters, and more so even than that, just a relationship that has started off very rocky, but I presume is going to get stronger and become something interesting, to say the least. I mean, even with the conclusion of the very, very end, where, you know, Yuzu ran out of the office. Or actually, I don't know if that was it Yuzu? I think Yuzu was the one that ran out of the office, and Mei was left behind, and then we see this third girl all of a sudden appears. That's going to be interesting. Maybe she saw what happened, or maybe she knows what's happening. That's going to be problematic, I think. We're going to have a love triangle, I feel like, from her at one point. But we're not sure yet. Anyways, what did you guys think about this week's episode of Citrus? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below to let me know. And as always, guys and girls, if you liked my review, please hit Think About Him, that subscribe button, share the video around, liking the video, and check out my Patreon for various rewards, etc. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day. I have 2 other reviews today. Ancient Magus Bride, which should be the one that's coming up next. And I will also have March Comes Out Line probably later tonight. I'll talk to you guys then. Bye-bye, everyone.